Taavi, it's great seeing you again here in Lithuania for the Fintech Day. How are you finding the event so far?
It's always great to meet you. Thank you for inviting me here. And actually, it's great to be always back in Vilnius as well, because it's our second biggest market for our company, and we have many good colleagues here. So it's we have many good customers here.
Yes.
So already last night there was a great opening event with partners and organizers where we got to meet lots of new people. And I'm super excited to see how many people are great fans of the a local fintech ecosystem here, and people are coming from Copenhagen and the rest of Europe actually to celebrate and to meet new people. And it's coming from Estonia, which is also a great tech center. It's actually, I'm a bit jealous to see how attractive the whole fintech scene here it is.
Right, and I think it's a regional thing. Now, you are the founder and CEO of Salv. Last time we spoke, you gave us a download of the Salv value proposition, but for those who have not heard it yet, tell us briefly, what is the core differentiator of a Salv in the market?
Well, what we're doing is we're producing AML technologies, which covers sanction screening, transaction monitoring, and maybe most importantly, collaborative crime fighting, which means that the financial institutions across Europe, either banks or fintechs or payment service businesses, they need to collaborate to find more crime, and they need to change data points, which are coming out from their existing in-house monitoring systems. And when you add up these three components, screening, sanction screening, which is hugely important in these days, transaction monitoring and behavioral analysis, and the data exchange between the institutions, that's actually the modern level of the AML compliance tools, actually.
All right, now the question that comes into my mind is that we're talking about AML, we're talking about compliance, and we're talking about collaboration. How does GDPR fit into all of this, and how is data shared in a way that is still compliant?
That's a super exciting topic, not only from my product and from my company point of view, but actually also from the technology discussions point of view. Because every conference or every gathering I'm attending, then this data sharing and linked to GDPR, that's more heavily discussed than AI in our world.
Okay.
So normally if you go to any other tech conference, then AI is topic number one. But actually, in that compliance space, the data sharing and collaboration is the first topic, and AI is second position. And actually, very simply saying, actually GDPR gives a great rules or tool set which tells how to do these things, how to exchange data, how to exchange critical information about possible criminals, about your good customers between each other. And the whole, in UK, regulations are changing and becoming more clear, and same with the EU. There's everyone remembers PSD2, which happened a few years ago. Now, in the European level, there's PSD3 in discussions, which is coming live soon. And PSD3 is also touching very heavily on this collaborative crime fighting and data sharing points to make it even more clear than it is now. But luckily, several countries inside of Europe already now have pretty innovative legislation system, starting from Estonia and Latvia, and there are discussions going on here in Lithuania as well to make it more clear and enable it more institutions to exchange information about criminals, because the financial crime is hitting individuals, companies, regulators are trying to control it, and they need to give more power actually for the institutions to stop it.
Right, okay, now, and that brings me nicely to my next question, which is that I believe that Salv recently got a license. That's not something we hear about very, very often. Tell me a little bit about what that license is, and just fill me in.
Yes, it's for the fintechs and banks and financial institutions, getting a license is mandatory thing in order to offer the services. But actually companies who are serving financial companies, like RegTech companies, haven't had yet the proper license, because we are not offering financial services, we are offering services to the financial companies, right? But actually it has created a lot of confusion in the market, especially because of the fact that regulators and bigger financial institutions haven't heard about these new RegTech companies, and they intellectually tend to trust more the well-known old legacy providers who have been in the market for tens of years and who used to be really good 20 years ago, but in these days the requirements are much higher, and there is good competition going on between the providers.
Right.
But the problem is that this emotional presence in the regulators' heads, having these old and well-known names versus the new incoming new startups, it has been unfair competition, and now we're luckily I think the first company, definitely in Europe, but probably in the world, who got the first license as a RegTech, regulatory technology license, from Latvian Data Protection Authority, which tells that we are like a licensed KYC utility provider or KYC data processor, and we're good to offer services to the financial sector in Latvia. Now discussion is like maybe it's also passportable into other countries as well. And that's like historical moment for the whole industry, not only for us, because it opens the door and shows the pathway for other countries and other governments how it's possible to regulate and give the licenses to direct the companies, which will make life easier, much easier actually for the fintechs and banks around the world. So they can assess better the quality, and it's more clear the quality of the RegTech companies.
Absolutely, and that element of portability sounds really interesting. So is that the portability exists at the moment, or it will become portable in the future? What needs to happen for that validation to be recognized across the European Union?
I think that's what's being discussed now, I hope, in the European Commission level, and there are like several strong working groups who are discussing the PSD3 conditions and exact setup. But actually even before this portability, like we and our partners, we have been doing a lot of legal analysis for different countries, for Lithuania and for Baltics, the whole Baltics, and for UK and other countries. What does it actually need to justify that legally the data exchange between the organizations, but also cross-border data exchange? So if there is fintech in Denmark and another like bank in Lithuania, then and if they're trying to resolve one joint crime case, to exchange some hints between each other, then like what is the legal basis that allows to exchange the customers, even their customers' data across the borders? And actually legal analysis has been going on, and like the conclusion is that something is allowed, some level of data exchange is allowed between each country. It's just question is like in different nuances. But yes, like the license and portability of the license itself, I think that's still to be discussed, and hopefully, of course, like we are progressing with that, and other companies also are trying to push that forward.
All right, well, exciting times. I'd like to get your take on what's happening in fintech in the Baltics, because I think you need to be here to experience it. But for those who had not had the opportunity to visit one of the Baltic countries, what's your take about what's happening, and why should they take a look at the fintech scene in Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia?
I think it's like two things for me. Like one is that the community and the number of people who have been working in the large world-changing organizations. Like my own past and history is like Wise or TransferWise, where I learned how to revolutionize the remittance world across the world. And many of my former colleagues from Wise, actually, they are building up the new world-changing startups because they have the ambition and they have the context and they have the experience actually how to do great things. And I feel the same effect is happening here in Vilnius as well, because like after Revolut and many other great companies which are creating new waves of the entrepreneurs. So that's one thing. And the other is that actually governmental sector is still quite supportive, and it's like more and more supportive in terms of legislations. And in small countries, it's like really easy to work for private sector and public sector to work together hand in hand. Like there are different fintech strategies which are driven by the ministries of finance, and actually private sector is always involved in there. And it's like super healthy cooperation happening. So the governments and the financial sector are usually going in the same direction, and governments are not stopping the financial sector at least too much. And that's actually really, really helpful. I see what's feeding this revolution here. Right.
All right, Taavi, just to close, it's still early on the day, but what's been your key takeaway so far of the FinTech Day?
I was listening Morten's presentation about like Web 4.0, which is like eye-opening for me. There's like, wow, there is a new term, and I want to look into this and what it actually means with that, and what's behind the Web 4.0. Maybe there's something for me to learn as well.
Well, there you go. For those who aren't here, you're missing out on new terms being created right here at FinTech Day. Taavi, it's always a pleasure seeing you. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you.